Hey, Janie, Jesse, good. Janie, DC, how are y'all? Can you hear me? I hope you can. Hey, Sharon, Andy, how are you? Can y'all hear me? Hey, Pop, how are you? What's up, Jacob? How are you tonight? Hey, Joe. What's up, Troy? Dina, how are you tonight? Nick, how are you? And James Kaufman. What's up, Spano? How are you? Howdy. Every time I hear like howdy, there's that BC Boy song. She said howdy. I said ho. What's up, Margie? How are you, Marge? Rockin' steady. George, Joey Mack. What's up, Rain? Glenn? Stephen Knight. 007 is with us. How are you? Kakalina, how are you? Randy? Kevin? Donna? Where's fucking Wilburn? What's up, DB Mac? Lucas, how are you? I'm doing well, rockin' steady. I'm doing well. I hope everyone is doing well as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Caden, how are you? I liked your video that you did today, Caden. At the old catfish shack or catfish corner. What's up, Savage? Lion Hawk, how are you? Craig Nutter. Stop smoking, now I vape. All right, Spano. That's right, your car doesn't stink. That's right, brother. I broke my phone, something bad. That sucks, brother. That was a cool building, though, Caden. I like that building. It reminded me of like an ice cream shop. You know what I mean? What's up, Kat? How are you? Peter Parsons. Yo, Fire Horse. It is a weird story. And he was spot on to what was told in the public. But definitely a strange experience from like I found here. What's up, do something? Keith the Faith. I remember that. Keith the Faith. Yes, holy shit. Yeah, now I remember that. Yeah. Wow. What's up, Weston? I do remember that. That was a long time ago. Holy shit, 5 years ago. I'm glad that you're here with us, Donna. I really am. Tommy, how are you? You made it. You didn't fall asleep. Cora, how are you? It's turned into the publisher. That's about it. Tigger's lying on the floor, snoring away right now. Kimberly Wilson, how are you tonight? Dave Thompson and Michael, how are you guys? Josh? Yes, sir. I'm still Josh. I'm Hoffman. I'm accepting any kind of experience, brother. Do something. Come back soon, brother. We didn't have too bad of weather this week. It's raining out right now. It's raining out right now. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Jeff, did you hear they found the very last of the dodo? No, I didn't. They found a living dodo bird. No shit. Did you ever order one of your own merch mugs? No, I haven't. I think like I shouldn't have to pay for my own merch. You know what I mean? Like I don't make a lot of money on the merch anyway. Like I think I make like $1 per mug or whatever. I don't even know. And then there are times that I barely get the money. So I don't I think I have a hoodie. I have a hoodie. Do you believe the LBL massacre? I do believe in the LBL massacre. The one that Tim Coonbo Baker talks about, that one, the real one, yes. What's up, Dis? YouTube doesn't do the mugs. YouTube doesn't do the mugs. It's a thing called Teesprings. Captain Kirk, how are you? No. Tim Baker is Tim Coonbo Baker. I don't know. That's the Lucas. That's the experience I don't agree with. Is the one that you're talking about. But Tim Baker worked for NASA. He's been on my show twice. He's been researching cryptids like since the fucking 60s. Just an amazing guy. Very smart guy. He actually has pictures of where the old RV campground was in the LBL. It's no longer there. The campsite that people are talking about. It's no longer there. So listening from Chicago. Thank you, lovely. So I got some really good experiences for us tonight. I've got some Black-Eyed Kids. I've got some Dogman. I got some good stuff. Yo, dirty Dogman fam. Yeah, it's raining out bad now. $20. It's $20. It's pretty wet out there. Let it slide in. Let it slide in. Woo. Karen, welcome to your first live. I hope it's everything you expected. My sister broke the ear on my... Oh, it holds my pens. Do you ever... I've had maybe one or two, lovely. One or two. What's up, FMT? John Sumner, how are you? Thank you, Steve. Fire Pit Fun. That's a good name. That is a good name. Favorite movie or favorite music of the Black-Eyed Kids? Oh, Kimberly Wilson. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. I know it was a little weak on the there we go. It was a little better. Tigger got excited on that one. Kimberly Wilson, thank you so much. I truly appreciate the love. You guys want to start? You guys want to start the night off with a Black-Eyed Kids story? Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Black-eyed kid story? Yes, I see a lot of hearts. All right. See you later, bud. I was a store manager of a small computer/gaming store in San Antonio, Texas. This was long before GameStop and cell phones. We were located on the left side facing the middle of the mall, with JCPenney to the left at the end. This detail plays into what happened. My ex-wife is a strikingly beautiful Latino woman. She was only 20 and my daughter was 1.5 at the time. Fortunately for us, we have very beautiful babies. They almost look like dolls. The reason I say this because my daughter attracted way too much attention as a baby. We stopped going out in public because people were constantly approaching us and asking to touch her. It's a Sunday, and I would work the whole day since it was a short day. The three of us would go to my work. My ex-wife would dress our daughter and herself up and make a day of it. She liked to shop and wander for the day, coming back and having lunch. Being the manager, I took long breaks as well. Everything was going along fine, like any other Sunday. I go out to give her some money, and my spidey street senses start going off. I look to the left, and I see a man intently looking at my wife and our daughter. I meet his gaze, and he does not look away. I asked my wife if she knew the person staring at her. We both looked up, and he was gone. Couldn't have been more than 3 seconds, and he was just gone. There was something strange about him that I remember to this day. He was dressed in a dark gray suit with a dark gray overcoat. Not to trouble her, I told her not to worry about it. We had lunch, and we took the long way back to the store. We stopped by mall security. I introduced her to the security guards, who had become good buddies of mine. I pulled them aside and told them what happened. They were concerned. We stopped by the info booth, and I tell the person working there to let me know if she sees him. My ex-wife goes shopping in JCPenney. Before she goes in, I tell her about the man in the gray suit. She lets me know that she'll keep an eye out for him. There's a call on the store phone. An employee tells me it's the phone, and I'm like, yeah, I heard it ring. He tells me he needs some help. He pulls me aside and says, it's your wife, and she sounds scared. I jump on the phone. She tells me the man I had described had been following her for over a half an hour. When he first showed up, she said he was reaching for our daughter. I immediately called security. They came up the middle with their employees standing watch on the entrance to JCPenney. I went out the back into the parking garage, which was no more than 50 feet away. Only 2 entrances to the store, front and back. Lots of emergency exits on the parking garage side, so the only entrance not covered was in the front. Luck would have it, a police officer had pulled someone over from the street and was now in the front parking lot. By this point, I didn't want the gentleman to go away. I went and caught him. Everyone starts converging on the store. He's got nowhere to go, right? They walk into the station where my wife is surrounded by the store manager and several employees, and they have our daughter behind the counter. The police officer had been alerted. Mall security escorted them both to my store. We put them in our car and drove straight to my mother's house. They continued to search the store, every nook and cranny. They never found the man. To this day, I can remember every detail, but the detail that sticks with me is his eyes were black as coal. What's up, Rabbit? How are you? Gen X 76. How are you? How are you? Nicola, how are you tonight? What's going on, Jay? Majin J, how are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. Juno, how are you? Miss Mountain Cat from the Appalachian. Christopher Douglas, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Gravity Cheeseburger, how the fuck are you? Just be careful, Joe Ross, going out on walkabouts in Michigan. Ginger Beard. Okay. Hi, Strangeness. How are you tonight? Mage and J. Probably the best proof that you'll have is the experiences and listening to go away, Tigger. Listening to the proof of like attacks that can't be proven to be Dogman or can't be proven to be bear or dog or whatnot. Brenda Hamilton, first and foremost, Dr. Nancy Shaw, Christopher Whiteley, Corey Godsey, just a ton of them. I know. Well, Tigger could smell the window being open, so he wanted to get a little whiff out there. There's probably some fresh kitty taint out there that he wants to pound on. Huh, buddy? With your big fucking non-nutted ass. You guys want to see him quick? Come here, buddy. What's going on, True Seeker? How are you? Oh, boy. Want to say hi to everybody? Say hi to everybody. Say hi, guys. Say hi. Say hi, everybody. There he is. The channel's mascot. Big Tigger. Huh, buddy? Yeah. Oh, good boy. Oh, good boy. All right. Bye, buddy. I know he is a big boy. He's a good boy, though. Thank you, guys. Thank you. He's the channel's mascot. He wants to have fun with a Dogman someday. I made a statement last week. You weren't here last week. I submitted everything to the editor. Caden is awesome. I love Caden. Maybe, that would be a good idea. I'll make a cup with Tigger's mug on it. I'll make a coffee mug with Tigger's mug on it. All right. So let's. Oh, this is an interesting one. I will. I'll make a Tigger mug. That'll be so funny. I'll just put I'll think of some crazy thing to put with Dogman. What's going on, Robert Sharp? Tyler Marshall, how are you tonight? Paula Mullen, how are you? Darrell Williams, what's going on? Janie, I'm sorry that you're tired, dearie. I hope you're feeling better. Went hiking in Lake Thunderbird, 15 minutes from Dogman sighting. Didn't see anything, but woods were real quiet. What's up, Justin Case? Zachary, how are you? You know what, Weston? That's when you want to be careful and observant. And obviously you're well aware of that because you picked up on it. I think that's probably the smartest thing anyone can do is when they realize the woods are silent, not necessarily back out of the woods and leave the woods, but just be hyper vigilant at that time. Just be really smart and just, really in tune with everything going around you. That way you know what's going on. Mal, stop flying your friggin' drone in the winds. You're going to lose it, bro. God dang. Listen to your parents. Stop flying the drone. Safety off. Black Panther in Florida. People have talked about that. What's going on, Richard Oakley? How are you? Tim Barbone. I'm doing well, Raheem. How are you? People have talked about Black Panthers, and I really think there are Black Panthers all throughout the country. I mean, it's just a pigment color. There's still a mountain lion, just a black mountain lion, if you really think about it. I don't think, I think the parks and game want to keep them, on the DL for the same reason they keep everything else on the DL, to have more people go camping. It's all a money thing for the government. So I do have a lot lizard report this week. What's going on, Alan Howell? How are you? Yeah, it's all about the cash. I remember Web Surfer, how are you? I remember in what, the 60s and 70s, everyone was like, it's about the cash, it's about the paper industry, it's about this, it's about that. It's not just about one certain industry. It's about everything. It's about everything the government makes money on. They make money on the paper. They make money on tourism. They want to keep this stuff under wraps for the money. And also to keep it disclosed from us, because I really honestly believe the government does not have faith in us as a people. They really do look at their country's countrymen as idiots, and they're the idiots. I mean, look how shitty they run our country. Look how shitty they run our state. All our states. I mean, New York is just a shit show now. And it's by who is running it. Larry Lindman, thank you, brother. Appreciate the love. Good seeing you this week. Thank you. Molly, how are you? Wexford. Rayjerk Central. What's up, California? Vermont isn't much further behind. Yeah, I mean, every state is in, and it's just our government doesn't have faith in us. They want us to be idiots. They want to keep they don't want us to be idiots. They think we're idiots, and they want to keep us undereducated in everything that we should be educated in. I want to thank Pups 7 for these 2 great books. Milton Cooper, as you guys know, I love Bill Cooper. The Threat from Outer Space, The Takeover of the United States Government by Extraterrestrial, and Secret Societies Exposed by Bill Cooper. Thank you, Pups. Been busy. I switched hospitals. No shit, brother. I hope the one that you went to was good for you and better for you, my friend. I got an encounter outside or coming from Maine, and it's just a little bit different. Just a little bit. 1997, on my way to work. How nice is it? Two pure white wolves lying down. They were huge, twice the size of a timber wolf. Do you hear about the lot lizard? The Dogman barely got away. I bet you it did get away, but it didn't have. It probably had a stinky finger. What's up, Closeted Psychic? How are you tonight? The Dogman had a little bit of stink finger. This first experience is from my dad. During one particular summer, my dad, who had been toiling out in the yard, had decided to come inside and get away from the heat and take a little nap. He said that he went in his bedroom and lied down on the mattress, looking up at the ceiling. After some time of just enjoying the silence and the warm buzz of an empty room, he heard the sound of paper rustling softly by his side. Thinking perhaps it was a mouse, he turned his head very slowly, careful not to scare it away, and was startled to see a small humanoid figure rummaging through some newspaper that was near my parents' dresser. He said it was a little person and that it was dressed in brown rags. My dad recalled watching it for a few seconds in disbelief. And that was when the figure stopped dead in its tracks, as if it suddenly realized that it had been noticed. At that moment, he said it turned quickly and walked through the wall, vanishing. As soon as it disappeared, he jumped off the bed to search the spot the figure had just occupied, even feeling at the wall where it had gone through. But there was nothing there. If you've ever seen that film, Cat's Eye, based off a collection of Stephen King stories, my dad claims that the little person he saw closely resembled the little creature that was living in the little girl's room. I'm in my mid-30s, and to this day, he stands by what he saw. My second experience piggybacks off the first one. It also took place when I was a child. My family owns property in southeastern Maine. We mainly use it for hunting. It's on the edge of town where I grew up, and apart from the acre we've cleared out to feed deer, the rest is all thick brush. When I was little, my dad bought the property from another family, and once in a while they were negotiating prices. He had heard a strange story from the buyer's granddad. Now, the old man had grown up in the area and used to love talking about his boyhood adventures on that property. All innocent stories except one time. The old man related a strange incident that happened early one morning when he was young. A large creek used to run through the property. Today, it's nothing more than a dried out ravine. But when the old man was a child, it was full and fish were in it. The old man said that one early morning he had come out to the property to do some fishing. As he approached the creek, he was startled to hear hushed voices creeping quietly to see who it may be. He said he found himself looking at two small people standing by the water's edge. The figures appeared to be no bigger than 1 foot tall, dressed in dark green or brown clothing. The voices that he heard belonged to these two little creatures. And although he couldn't tell what they were talking about, he remembered feeling that it was something serious. He remembers that one of them whistled like a bird, and to his astonishment, a whole group of these beings clambered out of a dead nearby tree. The old man said he watched as they gathered and walked in file down the bank, disappearing where the creek bent and went in another direction. Of course, when he got up to find them, there was no trace of them. The old man told my dad that he had tried going early several times in hopes of seeing them again, but he never did. Little bastard small people always messing with people. I like the old like native. What's up, Jordy? Small people. Like I really do enjoy those experiences. They're interesting. The Fae and such. Dogman versus Bigfoot. Who would win? more than likely Bigfoot. Not all the time, but more than likely they're bigger, they're smarter. Gigi, how are ya? I hope that answered your question, Yugoslav. But not all the time. Puma Pete, what's going on? Aramic, how are you? Yeah, I wouldn't want to see. I mean, maybe I'd want to see a little person. I've seen a lot of weird shit, but I mean, we all have. If you really think about it, I don't think there's a person on this planet that can't say they've had something unexplained happen to them, whether it be whatever, ghost, Bigfoot, Dogman, any kind of high strangeness. Candy, how are you? We the little people in Pryor Mountains, Montana, and Wyoming. Huh, that's neat. Can you start over? Sure, I'll start over. Frank Morris, how are you, my buddy? I don't know. Where is Wilburn? Wilburn! One time I was like a lot lizard. One time a lot lizard took my ice cream. Hey, Jeff, question for you. Nicole, how are you? What's your question, dearie? Andrea, how are you from all the way in the UK? Why did you choose to homeschool? Because my daughter, during quarantine, my daughter did better in school. There was less distractions for her. She gets better grades. And she can do it good by herself, you know? Like she doesn't need 16 other little shitlins distracting her when she can focus for 6 hours and get it done. Do I think St. Christopher was a dog man? No. I talked a little bit about that once, and I supposedly, all right, so there's a lot of different explanations for it. Supposedly he was a Canaanite or canine, which translates, and that they say that that's where it got mixed up in translation. But I don't think he was a dog man. I think he possibly could have communicated with like the Nephilim and other cryptids of that time, and maybe that's why. But there's a lot of different things on that. I mean, he's portrayed as a human being as well. It's just like a couple of different I guess translations and experiences. Donna Harmon, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Donna. I appreciate you. You know I do. Shitlins. Well, that's what they are, man. You know, what are these black-eyed kids? Lots of people. Web Surfer, thank you, my friend. I think cryptids are interdimensional origins. I do. I think a lot of them are, and a lot of them are not. I think that possibly, so the greatest or probably the most strangest experience I've ever heard, interdimensional wise, and I talk about it a lot because it really bothers me, but it sticks in my head because I want to actually talk to this guy. So I have a subscriber that lives close to Skinwalker Ranch. He is native Ute and lives near the Uinta Basin and stuff. And he told me this experience about this native guy was hunting and he had seen this portal kind of open up like 3 feet off the ground. Like it didn't open up on the ground, it kind of opened up above the ground, and this creature dropped out. And he said it didn't look like a Dogman, it didn't look canine, it didn't look like a Bigfoot, it didn't look like a crawler. It looked like something he has never ever seen or thought possible of existing. So I do think some of these things are interdimensional. But there's been, with Dogman and Bigfoot, there's been so many early experiences talked about. Like there's a Russian village that is very close to Alaska on the Bering Strait. And one of their like myths or lore, and I don't do that like disrespectfully, is that they crossed over the land bridge with Dogman and Bigfoot. Like they weren't at war. So I think some were, some weren't. I don't know. Yeah, it's windy up here too. What's up, VHS? How are you? The black-eyed kids, I'd say either are demonic in nature, or they're either demonic or alien-like, or they could be a creation from government labs. Here's something that I was actually thinking about the other day, and I've got an encounter that may connect to this thought. So the DUMBs, the underground military bases, we know of these genetic testing, these genetic experiments, abducted people going, getting abducted and being experimented on, early agreements with our government and the alien agenda and shit, the Draconians. So what if these black-eyed kids, Dark Waters, how are you, my friend? Thank you very much for gifting somebody a membership. I love you, James. So what if these black-eyed children are or were actually created by the government to help abduct people? And that's why they want to come in. That's why they want entrance to our home. That's why they want to use our phone. We don't hear too many experiences afterward of what happens once a black-eyed person is entered into the home. There's one from England where the guy was killed or disappeared. And then there's that one that I did a couple months ago, like 6 months ago, where a child had been taken. So what's up, Chad Lips? How are you? Weston, I said draconian people. They're an alien race, a lizard-like alien. Oh, James gifted Donna Harmon. That's awesome. James, thank you for popping in. I've got a present I want to send to you. I'll probably text you tomorrow, let you know when I mail it out. It's something that you like to partake on your spare time while sitting outside. And yes, it's a cigar, James. Yeah, serpentine. No, definitely no good. Oh, thank you, Beverly. Rashawn, thank you. I'm glad that you're here, brother. Thoughts on Outer Lands past the ice wall? I've never really gave it. I've read and I've talked about it. Zach, wow, thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Giving Rashawn a gift. Thank you very much. You guys are so awesome. We have a great community here. The Earth, there are no aliens from other planets. The Earth is flat, stationary plane. Yeah, that's not true. Definitely not true. So anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Completely forgot. Would you be surprised the things that happen during a daytime fishing trip? No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Jeff, guess what kind of dog I'm getting? A Weinreimer? I don't know. Richard Oakley, they're getting ready. Belgian, oh, you're getting a Malinois. Dude, good for you, Andy. Richard Oakley, I do want one. I want a Belgian Malinois and I want a freaking Weinreimer. Those are the two dogs that I want. All right, here we go. Oh, so anyway, that's where I got. So my thought was, and I really quick, just think about this. We don't know where black-eyed kids come from. They do have a demonic nature to them, and they do have a alien nature to them. We have no idea where anything comes. Like we have no idea. They almost resemble crawlers if you think about it. They almost resemble crawlers. I really just a theory. I'm thinking that these black-eyed kids were created by Draconian, by possibly even the Greys, to help abduct children and women. Because it seems like that's who they approach. They approach teenagers. They approach women. Very seldom do they approach men. Thank you, Tommy. Oh, guys, I'm getting my tattoo Tuesday. And I celebrated 8 years of sobriety on the 24th, on Wednesday, the 24th. So I made my appointment. I'm getting that. I'm getting this tattoo covered up. It's going to be right here. Bow. I'm very excited. Eight years sober. Had a great day. Thank you, Zachary. I appreciate that. Yeah, I never really thought about it in that kind of time frame. 8 years is a long time, and I don't think about anything like that anymore. And I was addicted to every kind of opiate I could get my hands on, from yellow Norcos to even 5 milligram fucking hydrocodones, all the way to dope, you know, and for almost 30 years. And I've never thought about going back. So Shane Pryor, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. Michael, congratulations. 4 months, my brother. Good for you. Good for you. Zach, congratulations. Raymond, awesome. You guys, you know, like and here's another thing, and I've said it 1,000 times. Think about how many people are saying that right now. Congratulations. I have 1 year. I have 17 years. I have 4 months. And we all have this healthy obsession with Dogman, Bigfoot, paranormal, unexplained. And the majority of people that have had experiences have addiction issues. I really think that there is a correlation between that, you know, like even the people that have been attacked, minus Brenda Hamilton and Dr. Nancy Shaw and Corey Godsey, but like Christopher Whiteley, Amber Miller, Tony Aarons, multiple people in Virginia, they all have some sort of addiction issue. Kimberly Wilson, congratulations. Daryl. Joe, congratulations. 4 years. Rockin' steady. Paula, congratulations. See, we're all we're a big family here. A good big family. Taking 4. Richard, you know, if the pain is that bad, just don't get addicted to it. You know, that's all I can say. DL, how are you tonight? No, I don't have a clue, Nicole. I didn't even have a clue back then. Yeah, it would be his son. That's right. Well, that's good. At least his memory isn't lost. This did not happen to me, but to a friend of mine. While I cannot say with 100% certainty that he saw a Mothman, I do honestly believe him that he saw something out of the ordinary. When this came up, he knew nothing about the legend of Mothman. It wasn't until later, when the Mothman Prophecy movie came out, that he decided to look into it and noticed all of the similarities. What happened to him was he and his girlfriend and her son were moving from one state to another. I remember that it was a few weeks after 9/11. They were in Roanoke, Virginia area at the time of the encounter. This particular night, they pulled over in a parking lot to sleep. They actually had 2 vehicles with them. One was driving the car and the other was following with a U-Haul. At one point, he got out of the car and went to the U-Haul to get something out of the back. That's when he heard his girlfriend screaming. There was a tall, dark figure hovering over the car where she and her son were inside, and it seemed to be looking into the windows and poking or scratching at the glass. When my friend shined a flashlight on it, he said he saw squinting red eyes, and then it was gone within a flash. It ended up landing on a tall branch in a tree, and it was looking back at them with these round, red, glowing eyes. He watched it for a moment. Then he said it darted straight into the sky and took off. It never flapped its wings. It just took off like a rocket, faster than anything living on Earth. He was incredibly shaken by this encounter, and so was his girlfriend. He said that their relationship has never been the same since, and that she changed. I had a deep interest in the Mothman that I kept pressing him for details, but you could tell that this really upset him. Yeah, I think it upset me too. The old Hebrew Jeffy N is going to be playing some Kenny G songs. Needs to wet my whistle. $20. It's $20. Ah. There we go. Hi, buddy. Tigger's looking in at me. He's like, oh, fuck. What you doing, buddy? Don't bite me. Hi, poor Tigger. Buddy. Okay, so this is... So right after I started thinking about the whole kind of what are the black-eyed kids? Where did they come from? And then I was like, whoa, maybe they came from like a deep underground military base. I found this experience. My dad and I were in Dulce, New Mexico one day. I lived in New Mexico since 2000, but had never been to this town, despite it having quite the history of cattle mutilations, etc. As we were inside the grocery store, there were two very strange teens wandering around, almost like brother and sister. The younger boy was about 11 and had his hair slicked back like an alfalfa from Little Rascals. The teen girl was wearing dark sunglasses indoors the whole time. Upon leaving the store, another family was coming in. A white engineering type, nerdy government lab looking type with a Native American woman, along with their four children. There was a baby in a basket covered with a blanket, a 2-year-old, and what looked to be a 4 and 7-year-old girl. The combination of the nerdy engineering type white guy with his native looking wife in such a insular community seemed strange to me for this area. Then there were the children, whose skin was much, much darker than that of what I assumed to be their native mother. The two girls stopped short of me as I was coming out of the grocery store. The way they looked at me was almost animal-like in curiosity, with silent gazes and their heads cocked inquisitively, almost like a curious puppy, with what seemed to be extremely dark, black, very reflective, glistening eyes. So I was like, all right. I was thinking about that. And then this experience, the nerdy guy, the nerdy little nerd boy walking out, and these two children with these glistening black eyes, like, and they don't stare at his dad, but they stare at him intently. 100%. I think, do black-eyed kids have loving parents? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe. Chu Perez, definitely creepy. Definitely creepy. So I think this is somebody asked about the shofar. So the shofar, Tim Coonbo Baker, who I talked about earlier, had been researching and has been researching for since the early 60s. And he has a friend who introduced him to the shofar about calling in Bigfoot with it. And I was gifted one of these by Shackleneck. Where is Shackleneck? And I've blown this multiple times at the location where Tom Mezek disappeared. With some, I guess, some luck of communication back, I blow it out the window just to have shits and giggles with you guys. Because it's just a neat, interesting. Kenny G has his saxophone. Jeffy N has his Hebrew horn. You know? No, the death whistle is what Tigger hates. Tigger hates the Aztec death whistle. Hates that thing. I thought he was going to attack me the one day I blew that in the house. He like cocked his head, looked at me like he was a black-eyed child, and just wanted to hurt me very badly. A friend of mine had gone up to the Cascade Locks in Oregon and found some steam vents. And those steam vents, we went up and tried to find them one weekend of the year in 1987, but we couldn't find them. So what we did was we went back and talked to that friend again, and she gave us kind of a map. We went back up there with the map, and it was a long way up there, but we found them. While we were there, we found those vents, and I thought to myself, I wonder how much pressure there is. So I picked a rock to throw into the hole to see if it would pop back out. And when I picked the rock up, I got chills thinking about it. That's when I saw this rather large looking Bigfoot. Now let me explain how it looked. It snarled. It was nasty. It stepped over a log that I would have had to crawl over, and it stood there growling at us. And I had that rock in my hand, and I was getting ready to throw it, and I froze. My friend was standing there off to the left of me, looking over, and that thing snarled at us. Its eyes were like a cherry on your cigarette. When I was a kid, I had heard stories about these creatures. While we were standing there, my buddy's friend took off running, and it turned its body and followed him. But when he got too far, he turned himself to me and looked me in my eyes. And I'm not kidding. I got the biggest rush I had ever had in my life. I remember back at what the First Nation people used to say, if you see one and you look him into his eyes, he will steal your soul. It scared the shit out of me. Paula, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Aramic, did who die? New Jersey Nature Preserve. I came 40 feet away from something 4 feet wide. Was it North New Jersey, Chew? Oh, no, the girl didn't die. They all got away. Yeah, I think in North New Jersey, there's this old kind of website and magazine called Scary New Jersey or Haunted New Jersey or some shit like that. But in North New Jersey, there's like the legend of the old Red Eyes. And I know, like, obviously the Pine Barrens, my buddy has written a couple books about the Pine Barrens, has Bigfoot, obviously, Dogman, and such. Pups, have a good night. UHF was a good movie. I remember that movie. It's Weird New Jersey. That's right. That's right. Weird New Jersey. There's a lot of weird prints coming from New Jersey, actually. Red eyes. Insomnia. Yeah, so Seattle has zombie. So does parts of Philly. Yeah, I've done a couple uploads on Mel's Hole, Aramik. Yep. I think the Seattle zombies were more or less like addicts, 59th. Yeah, like the underground dwellers in Vegas. Have you guys seen that show Them on Amazon? My cat Bandit and her 3-day. Oh, Richard, that's so sad. Damn. Kimberly, thank you for being with us tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day with your grandkids. All right, so Them is this really interesting TV show. It's an anthology. There's 2 series or 2 seasons now, and they are connected. So it starts off in the 50 or 40s and 50s during the Great Migration, when blacks moved from the Jim Crow South out to California. And this couple and their 2 daughters moved out to Compton, which was all white at the time. And they had to deal with the racial divide, which was absolute bullshit. But the TV show really showed almost a very realistic way that they portrayed it very realistic, and it really pissed me off actually of how fucked up our country was back then. But so these poor people were dealing with this racial divide on top of this very scary paranormal shit happening in the town, but centered in their house as well. And then the next series is like, bam. Ghouls? I remember Ghouls. Just a shirt. Ghouls is good. Yeah, Ghouls is good. But Them is really good. Jane, if you get to watch it, it's good. Spirit Level, how are you? Let's see. Did you just send me one, Chu Perez? Because I know I've got one from you from like a couple days ago, I think. Fallout's all right. Fallout's all right. Ghouls is good. Yeah, you're right, brother. It is good. Are there any paranormal TV shows that aren't fake? No, I don't think so. I think any show that is on TV right now, that even if they say they're not, there is a financial, and the reason why is because it's on TV. So I really think that there's a financial gain, and the government owns the broadcasting, owns TV. You know, I mean, they own big media. So no. Yes, yes, the Chew Perez from Tattoos. You sent me some tattoo pictures. Was that the one? Yes, I did. Yes, I did get that. I was actually thinking about, I was like, I wonder where they live so I can meet up with you to do that. Caden, I've got enough ammo to last me for a while if the zombies come. I really do. But I will probably figure out a way of getting to you with your fucking arsenal. You mean finding Bigfoot wasn't real? Yeah, they're definitely not allowed here in upstate New York after the bullshit that they pulled up here. What's up, Widowed Too Young? How are you tonight? Really? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that a little more too. Sounds good, Chew. Sounds good. What's up, Sully? How are you? Tuco Ramirez. Um, that was an old missing camper. That was probably an old Linda Bergman. That was probably an old experience. What's up, Jimmy Fields? How are you tonight? I wish to keep my name to myself, but I am willing to provide my account of what happened. This is a first-hand experience, first and foremost, that I had with a creature of unknown origin. It was roughly 5 years ago, late at night. I went for a walk in the dark to clear my head one night when I got this feeling that I was being followed. Before I could say anything, a dark, fur covered creature lunged out of the nearby brush. It looked like a large man crossed with a wolf. It had dark green eyes with an elongated snout. The thing smelled like a rotten deer carcass, and it was very heavy. It slammed into me, knocking me to the ground, where it stood over me and growled as it looked into my face. I kicked it, and it yelped before swiping at me, cutting my arm with its sharp claw. I was sure it was going to kill me, but then a noise similar to a car with a broken muffler backfired, scaring it, and the creature ran away. Strangely, my arm no longer felt like it was bleeding, and the cut was not hurting anymore. My shirt sleeve was torn, but when I wiped away the wet blood from my arm, there wasn't even a scratch left behind. I was sure that it was just a bad dream, and I headed back home. I never reported this because I was certain that nobody would believe me, and because it had been haunting me ever since. I've not seen this creature since it ran off into the woods when that sound scared it off, but I sometimes worry that it may come back. I also don't know why the scratch on my arm was gone in moments after the thing took off. Everything I found about online has said that it was a Dogman, but I don't really know. If you have any information on this, what you think it may be, I'd be interested to hear. So there's these things called inorganic beings or inorganic beings, inorganic beings, and supposedly they live in a alternate dimension. And let me pull this up real quick. And supposedly they use this. So that's what I think happened to this guy, that he had gotten attacked by an inorganic being. Inorganic beings, what are they? They are forces neither good nor evil in the Nagal. An ally is a force, a tension, just like in the case of a tree. The only way to know what an ally is by experiencing it. So there's a bunch of write-ups about it. But then inorganic being and parasite, but the nature of the universe. So I did a video about inorganic beings a long time ago, and pretty much the Nagal, what is said is that these creatures live in a dimension opposite of ours that scientists have already proven. Scientists have already proven there are alternate dimensions. And that these creatures live in these alternate dimensions, and they use our possible fear or possible moods to feed off of. So if we are having a good day or a good mood, they will feed off of that. And if we're having a bad day, they will use our innermost fears to scare us, to feed off of our fears as well. Maybe that's what this guy had seen, because this Dogman creature came lunging out of the woods, stood over him, but it ran away. It did slash him, but there was no, at the time, there was no scratch. His shirt was torn, but there was no scratch. So could it have been that? Maybe. There's been no missing campers in the LBL for a long time. It may have been an old report that he was talking about, but there has not been anybody missing in the LBL for a long time. And I personally don't believe that, person myself, but that's my own opinion. I mean, you could look it up too. Like if you ever have a question, oh, I wonder what, Google it, and see, oh, wow, there isn't anybody missing in this area. Huh, that's weird. Is that the older guy, Molly? The Lee Hempel, that he's kind of older and he has like a barn in his backyard. Yeah, I've talked to him. Yes. And he thinks they are interdimensional too. He's got tracks of them moving on. Well, Zach, it's not because they closed down areas in the LBL. Like Nikola Tesla was just there. The LBL is like, it's not that hot of a spot. It's overplayed, to be honest with you. Like I have known probably just in the last year, I've talked to 6 different people that have went there, and they've had a creepy feeling, but have had nothing happen. They do close down certain areas of parks for reasons of, to move trees and debris, and people will play on that and be like, well, why'd they close this park down? Because they have to do work there. Obviously, there's work that needs to be done in parks. Like I don't think the LBL is a hot spot. I think Tennessee is a hot spot for a hot state, but it's just another place. Taylor, Mississippi, I think would be a hotter spot than the LBL. And the LBL is huge. So where are you gonna you're like, what part of the LBL? You know what I mean? What's up, Nick Hendricks? Kind of like spirits. Yes. Yes, Aramic. But I think truly that all of the United States could be a hotspot. Like there was a video that I did 6 months ago, and I looked at every single encounter I had, and it seemed like in Dark Waters and I were talking about this one night, and then after we let each other go, I went back and I pulled out like 6 random encounters in different spots, and I pulled a map up of watersheds, and I looked and I was like, wow, this happened at this watershed, this happened at this watershed. I don't think there's a necessarily typical, hot spot where they fucking run around and breed, and that's just, if it was, nobody would go there, and people camp in the LBL all the time. People camp in the LBL all the time. Soon, Richard. So a watershed is pretty much where there's 2 different versions of, like, I did the upload on it. It was like 6 months ago. Let me pull it up really quick on my phone. So a watershed is just an area of land that drains all the streams and rainfall in a common outlet, such as an outflow of a reservoir, a mouth of a bay, or a point along a stream. And then there's a map on United States government or United States USGS.gov, watersheds and drainage basins. And there's a big map of all of the watersheds. If you look that up, you'll be able to see, and you can connect the dots yourselves. You'll be like, wait, I just heard this encounter from this person the other day. And wait, it fell in this watershed. Holy shit, that's crazy. So it seems like a lot of these encounters just fall in watersheds. That's great, Linda. I mean, I'm not debating it with you. Great. I have, but wouldn't there be like any kind of news on it? No. Because usually, like in Meeker, Colorado, there was news of animals being attacked in Meeker. When the border agents were killed after they saw a Dogman, there was, right where I said it happened, 2 weeks later, when he contacted me again, there was news of these two guys getting killed. Jay Cortez. Ricardo, what's going on? Yeah, it was like literally, Jay, it was right after me and him talked about it. Where my hot spots would be all along the Mississippi watershed. That's where the majority of the experiences that I found. So there's like a few different watersheds that I felt like had the most experiences that I saw, that I have people reported to me. And Arkansas, white and red, lower Mississippi were the two biggest areas for the experiences that I have. God, like 9 months ago, Jay Cortez. Spill pineapple juice. Not really, Zach. Occasionally I do. Occasionally, but not often. Yeah, I did a whole video on it, Jay. This is interesting because I had an encounter with a black-eyed kid when I was a child in 2003. My family and I live in the Bay Area, and we were driving north for some camping fun when I was about 10. I'm 24 now, and I'll never forget this experience. We had pulled over in the middle of the night at this dinky little gas station. My dad went inside to pay, and my mom was left in the passenger seat with the window down, and my brother and I were in the back seat. I was looking around and noticing how pitch black it was everywhere. We must have been very far from any real civilization because I swear you couldn't see past the lights of the gas station. Out of nowhere, this kid, who seemed to be 14, came up to the car and asked my mom, "You want to see something?" She said, "What?" He then threw a giant dead grasshopper into the car. This freaked my mom out and she screamed. But he and I made eye contact, and it spooked me so much that every time I recall the image of his face, I get chills. His eyes were completely blacked out, and he was grinning with all of his teeth, sharpened, they seemed. My dad then came running out, and the kid ran away. But it was so traumatizing as a small child. All right, this is a longer Dogman experience right here. This experience happened in 2015. I lived in Montana outside a rural community, population 2,000. During this time, I lived in a small, one floored ranch home by myself. My nearest neighbor lived 1 mile away and was a farmer. I never had many strange encounters leading up to this one, but the woods by my house always had this ominous feeling. Soon after moving in, I realized why the previous homeowners left pretty quick. I had started hearing noises in the woods. These were not just any noises, but what sounded like blood curdling screams and growls. After some research, I learned that even something like a raccoon or bobcat can make these unnatural noises and chalked it up to that. But still, it just never felt right. It was hard to explain, but I never felt like this before, and it was just something about the woods around my house that made me uncomfortable, like I was being watched. The first experience I couldn't explain happened about 2 weeks after I moved in. There was a thunderstorm, and the thunder was loud enough to keep me awake. I never did feel comfortable in storms by myself. The lightning was crazy and would light up the whole surrounding area for a fraction of a second. I was lying on my couch and got up to get a glass of water by the kitchen sink. It was about 2 a.m., if I recall correctly. Above it, there is a small window that gives you a view to my yard leading up to the tree line. When the next flash of lightning hit is when I saw it. Admittedly, it wasn't a long view, but it gave me enough time to see whatever this thing was. It was near the tree line, just a few steps into my yard. At first, I thought it was a bear, but it wasn't. It was standing on two legs with its face pointed toward the house. Its legs were like a dog's, and I could clearly make out the hocks. It was hard to tell the color of the fur, but it was dark. Its upper body was massive with a wide torso and arms that could almost reach the ground from standing. The strangest thing is how the upper body seemed to dwarf the lower body. After standing there, frozen in shock, I waited for the next lightning strike, but when it happened, it wasn't there. It happened so quickly, and it was gone quickly. After that, I bought a gun and would sleep with it and within arm's reach. The next encounter is what I consider the most frightening event of my life. For several weeks, nothing worth noting happened. I didn't get cable where I lived, and one night I was watching something and my satellite kept acting up. I didn't like going outside at night, but this would be quick. I just had to move the satellite just a bit. Nothing had happened for a few weeks, so I decided I'd go out and do it. I grabbed my gun and a flashlight and went out. The first thing I noticed was the eerie silence that surrounded me. This time of year, at night, the woods are active with all types of creatures. Not tonight. Despite the fear I was developing, I made my way over to the satellite and began to adjust it. I heard a small snap of a stick and quickly turned to the left, shining my light toward the direction of the noise. What I saw will horrify me for the rest of my life. I was immediately met with red eyes. These eyes were the color of blood, and they were evil. The head of this thing looked like a mutated German shepherd. I don't like to say it, but it looked like a werewolf. A long snout, pointed ears, its fur was black and saggy in places. I could see this creature extremely developed musculature, and it dwarfed even the biggest human on earth. Randall Kennedy, thank you, brother. I'm glad that you're here with us too. It was half in and half out of the woods, almost crouching, and it still came up to my head, 6 feet. Fully standing, this thing would have been 8 feet, I estimate. I was about 20 feet from this thing. I didn't even consider my gun, which I thought would protect me. Chances are, in hindsight, the little 223 bullets would have just pissed this thing off before it tore me to shreds. I backed away slowly, never breaking eye contact with it. I gently picked up my gun, and the fight or flight reflexes kicked in. I chose flight. Maybe not the best option, but even if I stayed there, this thing would kill me. I ran as fast as I ever did in my life, not turning back once. I have no idea if this thing pursued me. I got into the house, locked every door and window, covering the blinds, and sat with my back against the wall, cradling my gun the entire night. I did not get a wink of sleep that night. To make a long story short, I don't live there anymore. People often talk of Sasquatch being harmonious with nature and living within an ecosystem. Sure, if you see one, it might be scary, but it's probably not it's probably more awe than anything. With this thing, it was totally different. It felt unnatural, it was sinister, it felt evil. It was stalking me, toying with me, and I believe it would have killed me. I have never seen nor experienced this feeling again in my life. It is a memory I try to put past, but I still get nightmares about it. I think until the day I die, I will always have an image burned into my memory. Best image I have seen that fits this description is the creature from the movie The Howling. This is the first time I ever shared this. The isolation is definitely the worst part. It's just you and this creature out there. And if it decides that it doesn't want you around anymore, you will disappear. Then your death will be ruled as either an attack from bear or wolf. Looking back, there are a lot of wildlife related deaths in my general area. I wonder if that's just a coincidence. My neighbor, who was a chicken farmer, died. I tried getting a hold of him and finding things out, but his family was very secretive. In my mind, there is no way this was a bear. I was so close to it, I could see every feature. It had obvious canine appearance on its face and also the hocks, like the legs of a dog. Misidentification is always a thing, but I do not believe this was a bear. Maybe the whole sinister and evil thing was an exaggeration. If it wanted to hurt me, it would have done it. It's just how I justify coming face to face with something so terrifying, I believe. It looked like a predator that would rip me apart. It's just that it wasn't scary for me, it's just that it wasn't scary for me, unlike other Dogman experiences I have heard. This thing didn't run off or back down. It wasn't expressively aggressive in its encounter. It was just silently watching me. It didn't growl at me either, just dead silence. Yeah, I saw it real close, so close I could even smell it. And it smelled like, well, wet dog that rolled in something very nasty, very strong and pungent. When the light shined on its face, its eyes had the same reflection like a cat's would. Joe Ross, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And okay, so I just want to say this really quick. If I upset anybody about the old LBL being whatever, LBL, Jesus Christ. If I upset anybody about the LBL, okay? Yes, there are things that happen there. I just don't believe that there are that many things that happen in one spot because people go camping there every year. It is one of the most visited areas in Tennessee and Kentucky. for camping. There are experiences there. There has been. I've had a few people that have been on my show that have shared that live there. I just think that it's overplayed, you know? Like, I really honestly believe that there are experiences in places like Montana or out in Northern California that we don't even hear about because people are so afraid they don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, the LL Bean. LBL is and has been a place of experiences. I just don't believe it's that hot of a spot. And Jimmy Fields lived there and never had anything happen. I read that. Like I said, Nikola Tesla, he was there for the eclipse. He said he got a freaky feeling, but didn't see anything. I've had a few women subscribers that have went there that didn't have anything. Linda, thank you for joining us. Get some sleep. But like Great Dismal Lake, that had been like a hot spot for years. And then, you know, there are still experiences that happen there. Do some. Thank you, my friend. $5 make you holla. I'm sorry I didn't see that. Widowed too young. Here, I'll put my email in the description or in the comments. Sorry I didn't see it. Thank you, Heath. I have a hard time getting everybody's thing. I have many West Virginia experiences, Justin. I just did an upload earlier today of West Virginia. All right, so it's right under RH's hobo. Do you think Diddy is a cryptid? No. I think he's a freak. I think he's a freak that needs to go to prison. A creepid. I think he definitely needs to go to prison, but I don't think he's an alien. I don't think he's a reptilian. I just think he's a pervert who needs to get fucking thunder punched in prison. Thank you, William Ward. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you clarifying that too. Hey, Stella York, how are you? Giant Slayer, what's going on, my friend? The old gifting stone. Yeah, double cicada season is coming. I haven't heard any yet. I'm looking forward to. Beyonce killed Becky with the good hair. Yes, she did. That other girl, the girl singer. Yeah. That's right. That's right, XX26. Diddy's going to get doodled in prison. You know that shit's going to happen. They're going to go elbow deep on him. That's all he's going to hear. The prison guards are going to hear this every night. Diddy's booter is going to look like that. Well, Bobby, that's DW's thoughts on that. I just think he's a pervert. Not every freak of nature in the public eye is a lizard person. What's up, Kimberly Flores? How are you? Yeah, he's like a real life monster, like R. Kelly. Just like I don't believe Jay-Z and Beyonce are part of the Illuminati. I don't believe that. I think that they are pawns. They are not full on Illuminati. They are pawns. They are used, but never, ever full on Illuminati. You have to be born. You have to be in that 13 family bloodline to be in the Illuminati. What do exactly Freemasons do? We don't do we help communities. Freemasons do a lot for the public. Just it's not what people make it out like. Like, where's my sign thing? It's gone. It's downstairs now. It's all downstairs. Let me see something. I want to look up something for you guys. I got saved on my phone. Hang on. Bib. Okay. All right. So these are the 13 families of the Illuminati. The Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, the DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the Lai bloodline, the Onassis bloodline, the Reynolds, the Rockefeller, the Rothschild, the Russell, and the Van Doon. Those are the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati. Now, there are other subgroups of it, but like the Bilderberg group and such. But definitely some scary shit. Definitely King Kong Bundy, Nicola. Definitely King Kong Bundy. Oh my God, Shari Strong. The Vanderbilts are part of Sherry. The Vanderbilts are part of a bloodline that are not that are connected to, but not. I'll share something later with you, Rock and Study. I'll email you something quick so you can look at it. Vertebreaker, Jeff the Nephilim Slayer. All right. I'm currently live in Springfield, Massachusetts, and in May of 1973, back when I was an active Marine, we did a battalion-sized exercise in an area of California known as Casey Springs. We were told that there were no roads to get there, that we were inserted by helicopter. I was sent out on a midnight ambush with 15 other Marines. It was a computerized war game. It worked on the computer, and so they sent Marines to see if it could be feasibly done. What we did was we were going after an aggressing force. We set up a linear ambush, shaped like that of an L. And when your victims walk into it, it's a computer kill. Well, we set up this ambush at midnight, and we had 2 individuals walk into our ambush. We opened fire with blanks, and as it turns out, we thought they were bear. So we scramble, shooting our blanks at these individuals, and they separate. One went one way, the other went the other. We got back to our PPB, which is our platoon-sized patrol base, and we told our lieutenant what happened. He radioed to our commander. This was the first night of a 4-day war game, and it was canceled. We were given orders to light a very large fire, get a fixed bayonet, and stand on a 360 around our blazing fire. All throughout the night, we heard high-pitched screams. The only way I can describe this was that of a death call of a bear. And in the morning, we had 2 helicopters come in with base game wardens and some other fellas. To this day, I don't know who they were. We were made to bring them back to the area where this happened. 2 of the individuals walked to where we directed them, and we were ordered to leave the area. And this is something the Marine Corps does not do to cancel a computerized war game. There were over 3,000 Marines involved. The logistics and money that was spent on this, and then it was canceled, does not happen. Little Orphan Andy, are you a praying man, Jeff? Yes. I would rather listen to Yoko Ono than Taylor Swift. Holy jeez. Did you send me an email, Widowed Too Young? On my profile. Okay. Fourth, Richard Oakley. Fourth. Where did that originate? Did you lose a bet with somebody in the chat? No, it was just, it started out as a joke. It just randomly started out as a joke. Yes, Nicole, I did get them. I said I got them last week at the end of the live stream because I went and checked. Hey, Teresa, how are you? No, you're good, Nicole. What's on No Cap? I did call the lot lizards earlier. We'll do a lot lizard call right now for you, No Cap, Austin.
Lot lizards. $20 is $20. La 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 lizards. $5 make you holler.
Oh, spirit level. It echoes. It echoes throughout there. No, there was no fail. I just did it like that purposely. When you smack your lips. This is an interesting one. This fits into what we were talking about, where I was like, I wonder if black-eyed kids were created by an alien race or government alien race, whatever, to help with abductions. Excuse me. One evening during the summer of 2019, I went outside on my porch to smoke a cigarette. It was still pretty light outside. I live near Rochester, Minnesota. There's a small hill directly across the street from my house. I noticed two kids, a young boy and girl, walking up the hill. They stopped and looked back at me, but I got a bad feeling about them. They were wearing dark blue vinyl windbreakers with hoods, and as I looked closer, I could see that their eyes were black. They started to walk down the hill and come across the street, walking directly toward me. I was cordial and introduced myself to them. They continued to advance towards me. I was getting scared, so I quickly went back into the house. I asked my wife if she heard me talking to the kids. She heard nothing, so I put it out of my mind. The evening was quiet, and my wife went to bed at around 11 p.m. Several minutes of lying in bed, I started to feel strange. I looked toward the window. We have a one-floor ranch-style home. I saw the girl standing outside of my window. I freaked out and went to make sure the doors were bolted. When I got to the kitchen, I could see the boys standing on the back porch. I ran to the bedroom to get my .45. I assumed they were trying to break in. By the time I was extremely scared, I went to pick up the telephone and call 911. But the next thing I remember is waking up in bed the next morning. It was a little after 6 a.m. My wife was awake and looked at me. Where'd you go last night? I told her I didn't go anywhere. She said that she heard the back door close at around midnight and she went to see what was going on. She said she couldn't find me. I told her what happened and she thought I was hiding something from her. I still don't know what happened. I've read about lost time and alien abduction, but I always believed that it was bunk. I still don't really believe it. Were these black-eyed kids aliens? By the way, I no longer smoke cigarettes. I just don't have the urge anymore. Why? I have no idea, but I had smoked for almost 30 years before this. Truth Quest, DuPont's on the list. Yes. But I think that fits in. It really does fit into that, like, that theory or that idea of were these things, because we don't know what they are. They have black eyes. So we automatically assume, oh, they're demons. But maybe that black eye is their black-eyed is their alien DNA. Maybe that's why they only say certain things. But people have said that they've heard them talk mentally or telepathically to them as well. So like with the Dulce, the nerdy guy with the pocket protector and his two black-eyed children, he probably brought them home with him to move in, little fucking creepy kids. And then this guy. What's up, hippie girl? Yeah, definitely, Caden, you definitely want to stay away from the pink-eyed kids because that shit's going to suck. Any bets on who the Antichrist is? Maybe Elon Musk. Maybe. I would say Elon. Richard Simmons. I get bad vibes from Elon. I used to think Elon was good. I used to think he talked a good game in the beginning. And if you think about this, he really did. He was like, to Joe Rogan, I want to do this, I want to do that. And now he wants to fucking insert Neuralink in everybody's fucking brain. And he wants to do this and he wants to do that. And he has far too much money and far too much power for one person. Well, Andy, I think what he meant was like how Nostradamus predicted the three Antichrist. A little bit, Richard Oakley. A little bit, not too much. I just thought how funny, Elon smoked weed with Joe, but didn't get his government contracts. Good call, Rock and Steady. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen the new Joe Rogan that he just did with fuck, my brain just shut off. The guy with the fuck. Joe Rogan just did a new interview with, let me pull it up really quick, with Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble. Okay? Now, Graham Hancock, I like him. I like what he has to say. I don't agree with him always, but I like it. I think he's very fascinating. And this guy named fucking Flint Dibble is like the true meaning of a neck beard. He wore a fedora. He fucking had a fedora. He had this goofy ass beard, and his long sleeve shirt was far too long. He looked like he was like maybe 5'3", wearing his dad's fucking clothes. And every time he said something or someone disagreed with him, he'd be like, I don't agree with that. This little fat fucking little weasel. I wanted to beat him. Oh my God. If you guys watch the fucking video, you will want to hit him. You will. Oh my God, you know who I'm talking about, XX26. He had the littlest fucking hands, man. And he laughed. He like mocked people. He was mocking like Joe and Graham, and like they were trying to have a decent conversation. And like he just mocked them and then fucking laughed. Nyeh, nyeh. Fucker. Oh my God, I wanted to just. Yes, no cap. I swear to he was a full-on fucking neck beard. He was the kind of guy that has the fedora and goes, hello, my lady. I will protect you. I am your knight, my lady, and smells like fucking ass cheese. His hands were so small. They were like exactly little chode fingers. He's got a YouTube channel, and I was so mad. Like, he's like, well, people were picking on me on Twitter. And Joe's like, that's not Graham. Why are you targeting Graham? Like, why are you having all of this negative shit pointed at Graham? And he's like, well, Graham's followers are picking on me on Twitter. And Joe's like, that's not him, though. That's them. His name was Flint Dibble. Flint Dibble. I swear to God, he is a neckbeard. A neckbeard, Richard Oakley, is a guy who wears a fedora and has a beard that's on the neck and smells like fucking armpit cheese. And like literally, hello, my lady, I am your knight. Oh my God, I've never wanted to hurt somebody so bad. People. People. $20 is $20. Caden, I couldn't calm down. If you watched this video, anybody would get mad. Just the laugh he made. I was listening to it while I was mowing my lawn, and I literally, he's got the tiniest little hands. You know what they say about little hands? Little brain? I don't know. Neck beard? And he wore a fucking fedora. Who wears a fedora? Calm down. Oh. I had been in a local village of Aberton for a few pints. I grabbed some fish and chips and started to walk the 3 miles or so back. It was dark or nearing 11:30. I saw 3 kids in front of me, maybe 60 feet away. They came out of a wooded area, and at first, I thought they were a bit young to be out this late. By what I made of their height, I'd say 12 to 13 years old. They stood and they waited in a line next to the hedge for me to get close. They were almost robot-like, but what struck me was they were all dressed almost alike, hooded coats, gray pants, black shoes. As I passed them, I said, "Hiya, want to chip? You're out late." They never replied, but just started to follow me. I quickened my pace, and so did they. The path I was on was a country road, and street lighting was few and far beyond. As I approached the nearest streetlight, I turned to get a look at them in case I was going to be mugged and I could describe them to the police. I nearly screamed when I saw that all three had pale complexion, blonde hair, and black eyes. It was the black eyes that really struck me. The only thing that broke my gaze was the car lights coming my way. As the car got closer, I noticed that it was a taxi, which I flagged down, got in, and left. I did say to the cab driver what I had just witnessed, and he said that's the Albrighton Road was known for its strange activity, but he had never heard of kids with black eyes. I was shaken up for a few days, even dreaming of them on a couple occasions. As a footnote, RAF Cosford is known for UFOs, as well as alleged strange storage of United States nuclear weapons, which we all know is illegal, so it couldn't have had any. That's my experience. I am a researcher on unusual things since the 70s, not so active now due to being disabled. Please shampoo neck beards. The guy he was so obnoxious. That's the greatest thing. Just an obnoxious little turd of a man. Like, how are you going to be so... Okay, so it would be like this. It would be identical to this. We'll pick somebody. Random person, Firehorse. So, Firehorse tells me that Dogman are only males, right? And I am like, even though we don't know anything except what we, I'd be like, well, through my research, Firehorse, I can tell you that there are females. This little fucker. Oh, I hated him. Girls can wear fedoras. Yes, they probably fit girls better than this little Flint dribble. What did I do? I missed. No, you didn't do anything, Firehorse. I was using you as like if me and you were having a discussion. Sandy. Randy was here earlier. He was here earlier. People come to the live stream to find their friends. Haha, that's awesome. You don't want a fedora rockin' steady. Oh, the guy was terrible. He was just terrible. Just a little worm of a fucking person. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Well, I don't know if you heard the interview, Web Surfer, but every time Graham would say something, instead of saying dibble, he'd be like, and this was from Flint Dribble, and I'd laugh. I'd be like, oh my God. He is trying to be Indiana Jones, like a neckbeard Indiana Jones. Delirium. Oh, it is. Holy shit, it is like the villain of Lone Wolf McQuade. Whoa, I never thought about that. Charles, they did, because I have normal sized hands, but this guy doesn't, and I'm drinking out of a new can. What the hell is a neckbeard? A neckbeard, Andy Davis, a neckbeard is a neck beard. It's a guy commonly known to wear fedoras, only growing hair on their neck that they smell like. Here. Hey Google. Hey Google. Fucking don't ignore me. Hey Google, what is a neckbeard?
Here's the definition of neckbeard. Informal. A growth of hair on a man's neck, especially when regarded as indicative of poor grooming.
Urban Dictionary of a neckbeard. Urban Dictionary of a neckbeard.
According to Beard Gaines, there are a few different meanings attached to the term neckbeard. For example, the Urban Dictionary defines it as talkative, self-important nerdy men who, through an inability to properly decode social cues, mistake others' strained tolerance of their blather for evidence of their own charm.
That's a neckbeard. Hey Google, show me a picture of a nerdy neckbeard. Fuck. This is the best picture of a neckbeard, and I can't share it with you. God damn it. Aramic, have a good night, buddy. I'm not going to talk about you, Aramic. Yes, George, neckbeards have body odor. They stink like fucking ass cheese. They're terrible, terrible little. They're like trolls. They are probably children of lot lizards. A neckbeard. Flint Dribble's mom is probably a lot lizard. What's up, Jeremiah? How are you? Pops, I'm back. That's why they can't talk to girls. Exactly. They smell, they wear fedoras. They're just bad people. In male neckbeard, in medical community, in yes, that's right. They'll give you a back rub and they'll smell and they'll have a fedora and they'll be like, hello, my lady. Let me protect you with my knight in shining armor. Beta cockloids. They are a cuck. A neckbeard most certainly is a cuck, especially Flint Dibble. You can tell this man is a cuck. Yes, Andy Davis, 100%. Flint Dibble's dad is Indiana Jones and his mom is a fucking lot lizard. Why are you so fucking weird? Oh, welcome down, Ram, Mr. Wellen. Oh my God, that's a great name. Oh, thank you. Salute to you. Oh, shit. Oh, I, I really honestly, I would have paid money, and I don't like Joe Rogan, but I listen to like certain interviews that he does. I would have paid Joe Rogan money to super kick him, like just to watch him super kick him, man, because it would have been fucking great. Captain Kirk. I used to be Breezy 333. Oh shit. RH, you know it. You know it. Or his mom's chin. We just went somewhere where we shouldn't have. We're talking about people's mamas now. Thought I heard somebody. Thought I heard Flint dribble out there. Wanting to get woke up. Definitely avoid eye contact. He may try and do bad things with your booter hole. He's the type of person that would do bad stuff to your booter hole if you went camping and you fell asleep drunk. He's Swamp Donkey's best friend. He rides Swamp Donkey. Oh my God, I'm a Swamp Donkey. Did you know Chuck Norris is Australian? I did not know that, but he's not. He's from Texas. Do something? Yeah. All right, last encounter of the night, guys. I encountered the Black-Eyed Kids over a decade ago in rural Appalachia. This has always disturbed me. My boyfriend and I keep in touch to this day, but we have never brought it up again. We were at a local/state park sort of place in Pickens, West Virginia, between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. I remember we were parked alongside the woods and there were some picnic tables. It was pretty desolate. We were technically trespassing. We were both 17 at the time. And what we were doing there, you can leave to your imagination. As our curfews were approaching, we were finishing up our time together. We experienced a very ominous feeling. He was in the driver's seat preparing to start the car and pull off. The car doesn't start. We sort of laugh it off, as it wasn't the first time it happened. Suddenly, to the right, the passenger side where I was sitting, we see faint lights coming out of the woods. The ominous feeling intensifies. Emerging from those woods, there are 4 children. They are younger than us, appearing to be 8 to 11 years old. It was very dark, but I can say that their eyes were black, each one of them. And they're not normal. They didn't belong. The cabins at the park were not occupied. They weren't even getting rented out as it was autumn. We were miles away from the park's hotel. There are no adults. They were absolutely out of place. What were these lights? The closest thing I can compare them to were glow sticks, as if opened from the package that you get from the novelty store. They just stopped, stood there staring at us. He tried asking what we were doing there. Were they lost? Where are your parents? No response. The oldest looking boy, a bit heavy set with a gray hoodie on, approached the vehicle just in front of the passenger headlight. My friend started to get really freaked out at this moment, locked the doors, and was like, hell no, we gotta go. Eventually, the car did start. The children didn't move. and the kids stayed put in front of the car. My friend eventually yells to the kid, "I'm going to run you over." The boy slowly backed away, raised his arms, and pointed at us as we were leaving. We didn't look back. You know, and the kid grew up to be. I was thinking that, web surfer, the second he said, oh my God. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me on this beautiful Saturday night. Now Sunday morning. I am going to get some sleep, and I hope you guys do as well. I want to thank you all again. Like, my Saturday nights would be boring without you. So you guys make me have a good Saturday night every Saturday. So there we go. One last time. $20 is $20. Ah. And with that, my friends, I love you all. I'll see you next week. Stay well. Don't let your meatloaf. Don't let anything bad happen. And just stay well. Gigi, have a good night. The Battle, have a good night. Everyone, be good. Caden, have a good night, my friend. Pops, enormous. Have a good night, Nicola. And next week, next Saturday, we'll have the new tattoo on my arm. There, it's going to be right there. Yes, yes, yes. And then next month, I'll let you guys pick out my next tattoo. I love y'all. Have a good night. Thank you for spending the night with me. See ya!